I saw some people already comparing Sheila and John to Huda and Jeremiah, but if that's the case, then I think the roles are reversed because I do think John is the problematic one. Why, hello, everybody. Last night, the Love Island ripoff, Love Cabin, aired over on Zeus Network, and I had to check it out and talk about it. So, yes, I am going to give my wide ass opinion on this Zeus Network show. And it will be a very wide opinion because I don't think I can sit here and talk about how John the Don really says he was willing to fight over pussy. I feel like I might be a little too old for some of this commentary. But we are going to get into it. We are going to talk about the rip off of it all. And it is definitely giving a Love Island rip off from the decorations in the cabin. They got the neon lights with sayings on the wall on their rather cheap decorations, but they are trying their best to make it look like Love Island, which I don't know how that works from a being sued standpoint. It's one thing to rip off the format if you make some tweaks here and there, but if your whole design is to make your cabin try and look like the villa, it seems like you're really ripping off this show. But maybe there is enough changes from the format that it's not a total ripoff. It's not live happening in real time like Love Island. But in the end, there will still be a vote from the audience to vote for the couple that wins the 100K, which is still similar to Love Island. Overall, though, I mean, I do feel like it is a viable competition to Love Island to an extent. It does seem to be the similar format. We're starting with 6 different couples that will be coupling up. They will have their own version of bombshells that they're calling flames. We have the boom boom room, Ray J's boom boom room, to have a room where things may or may not happen. And they have a narrator that is, in my opinion, funnier than the Love Island narrator. It is Tia Kemp who was doing the narrating, and I thought she was quite funny. Now, the host, Ray J, was terrible. Ray J was the worst part of the show to me, just coming in, saying a bunch of random shit, doing a bunch of random shit. I don't remember who called it out that he seems like he's on coke, but whoever said that was very accurate. Because that was Ray J's whole vibe. Later in the episode, he tried to be messy, but it came across as just he didn't know what he's doing as host to me personally. But it got a little weird towards the end with Ray J trying to make it about himself with one of the girls. So that's not really host qualities, in my opinion. But as for the cast, I want to start giving my opinions on the cast overall, my first impressions of the cast, and then we'll talk about the couples a little bit. We didn't get to see much of the couples because this whole episode, like most first episodes, it's a lot of introduction. Now, the first guy was Thanos, which, I mean, can't be his real name. Like, really, you're going by the guy from Marvel. He talked about him being a lover boy, but on his fuckboy ship. And he's saying he's here for love, allegedly, looking for someone to bring back home to his mom. And whatever happens. I don't believe him. It's hard to believe someone's coming on this show looking for someone to bring back home to his mom. But I will say, as the episode went on, old Thanos was quite picky about who he actually wanted and who he didn't want. Which doesn't necessarily mean he's actually looking for love, but he is looking for someone that is more his type, I guess, or at least someone he's actually attracted to. Now, John the Don was probably the star of the episode, for better or for worse. He had many quotable quotes from his introduction saying that sometimes the type he likes is not always available, so he settles for the fat girl that gives good head. He said in the past he's all about sex. Some girls say he has no substance and just wants sex. And that's when he said he will fight over, getting the box. And he said if he can't find who he really wants in the house, he's down for a girl with a fat ass and low self-esteem. So clearly John the Don said a lot of probably problematic stuff to start the show. But I do think every show needs a villain, and there's no way that John the Don is not going to be the villain of the season. And then later in the episode, we discover he really finds his type, the Kardashian type, as he likes to call it, when one of the Armenian girl walks in. We'll get to that in a second, though. But John the Don, I don't necessarily like him, but there's no denying he kind of stood out as the biggest personality. There's a lot of wrong with what he said, but there's also, it is a TV show at the end of the day. The next person is Mike Gill. That's what he wants to go by. He says he used to go by Kill, but his game is Michael. But he was saying it more like Mike Hill. I thought we were going to see Cynthia for a second. He introduced himself as having the 3 6s, 6 feet, 6 figures, and 6 inches, talking about how eye contact is an important thing, and that's how he's going to woo the women, which is true. So, he has his game down probably. He talked about hating a mean girl, but liking a baddie. He was the person hoping he was going to be the tallest, which clearly with this cast would have been a big deal. But there was someone that came in taller than him. Next up, Brian, a dancer and an actor from Denver who had been single for 10 years. He was on some male dance review, so like a male stripper type situation, which is why he didn't date for 10 years, because allegedly it was hard to date when you're a male stripper. He's saying that the fuckboy life did not bring him fulfillment, and then went on to talk about his love of God and his love of faith and the fact that he brought a Bible with him onto the show, which it seemed very fake to me. I think it maybe won some people over online with the little bit I saw the show talked about on Twitter. I don't buy it. I feel like it's a good way to seem more innocent. It seems like a manipulation tactic to me. Even though Brian was one of my favorites, I do feel like it was not real. It was a show. Camo came in. He's the tallest. He played basketball. The women like his height. He's 6'7", I think. I really think that Camo is another example, coming off of the Love Island shows themselves, that the tallest on the cast is usually the most boring. And maybe it's because, as we see from the women talking about their type, being a certain amount of height, you're capable of just being boring and getting away with it because of your height. We saw that in season 6 with the guy that got voted out first. I don't even remember his name because he was not memorable at all. Of course, last season with Chris, and he was also on Love Island Games, giving us nothing. I expect the exact same from Camo. He will be the most boring guy on the show, most likely, just getting by on his height. The next guy is Trap Yayo, but he's going by Trap. He says women love his tats and his smile. He's allegedly another player trying to change his ways. He did say something in his introduction that was interesting, talking about his different personalities some days. So we'll see what that potentially brings to the show eventually. The big thing about Trap is that he makes porn. He was calling himself a content creator, but that content turned out to be porn. And John the Don talked about how he wanted to throw that fact under the bus to the women. So we'll see if him being in porn actually works out for him, or if other guys throw him under the bus with that. I don't know. And so that was all of the guys. Now, I do find it interesting how all of the guys are black, but the women, not so much. I will say, like my girl Mickey on Big Brother would say, for this being a black show, the cast is not there's not a lot of traditional black women on the show, as Mickey would say. I feel like only half of them are black. We have a white girl. Chloe seemed a little out of it, like not like she shouldn't be on the show at first, especially with Ray J later calling her a snow bunny of all things. But then, she seemed to embrace the name. She talked the whole episode out about how her type is tall, dark, and handsome. So she seemed to embrace her archetype on this show, I guess. Desi is another person who is looking for a relationship. She says she's very intellectual, but also a bad bitch. She's looking for someone with confidence. She had been single for a while now, like a lot of them said they were. Desi, I like Desi, or at least I want to like Desi. Her confessionals were a little, I don't want to say cringe, but they were a little cringe. Desi wants to be like the queen bee of the show, and I don't really know if she's gonna be that, but that's the persona she wants us to believe in her confessionals. Nisa was next, who in her introduction said she was kind of picky. Like, she likes a nice guy, but that person can't be boring. She likes an athletic guy, but that person can't be a gym rat. She likes someone outgoing, but not someone too cocky. But then when all of the girls were talking about their types and how basically all their types were tall, Nisa was the only one that said she didn't really care about height. So she doesn't seem as picky as a lot of the women came across in their talks together, even though she talked about potentially being picky in her confessionals. Athena is next. She is from Budapest. She is our other porn star on the cast. She says she's a good therapist. She talked about how most guys are boring. She wants someone fun. She does have that European thing. I don't really know exactly what I want to say, but there is a certain European personality type, and I really do feel like Athena has that, but it's not necessarily a good thing. There's this European personality type that thinks that they are better because they're European. That's what I get from Athena. So I don't know if I'm gonna like Athena. She seems like she's gonna be fun, and she doesn't seem like a mean girl per se. But she wasn't my favorite of the girls. I will say that. We already talked about Chloe. Next up, Kiara. She was my other least favorite girl, who's tired of hookup culture, wants something real. Also said she was super fun. I don't love her voice. I don't know what it is about her voice. Didn't love it. She gave off someone that's the pickiest of the bunch while being the most unattractive of the bunch. So that's, I think, why I didn't like her. She came across the pickiest, and it's you probably shouldn't be on this cast because you're not exactly the best looking on the cast, so maybe keep that quiet. So we'll see if I end up liking her, but probably not. Next up was BBL Sheila, who is hoping she meets a man that's different from the men in her past. She really wants something serious. She is the one that is Persian, that John the Don seemed to really love at first sight. Not love, but definitely lust at first sight. I mean, I like her. I really do like her personality. I do think her BBL is lopsided or something. There's something off with it. It was too much when she went to wherever she went to get her BBL. I think I will like her. I saw some people already comparing Sheila and John to Huda and Jeremiah, but if that's the case, then I think the roles are reversed, because I do think John is the problematic one. And I think Sheila actually is there to be herself so far. She seemed to be modest when it came to the kissing. It's not what she likes to do. And I respect that. Now, she did kiss John, because that was the first thing that Ray J had people do, was kiss the people he thought they should be with, which was another thing about the show that I'm like, Maybe this was their way of not being too much like Love Island. Let's have Ray J decide who should be together for the first couples. So that was a little strange, but that's who John wanted. John definitely wanted BBL Shizzy, so we'll see if that works out for them. I do think John will be the problematic one in that bunch, though. Ray J had Chloe and Camo kiss each other. Now Chloe is the tallest woman, so Camo being the tallest man going with her, it makes sense height wise. I do think they had a better kiss than Sheila and John. With Sheila and John's kiss, Sheila was trying to tell John to slow down. He thinks he might be too aggressive for her, but clearly he is really attracted to her. Another quotable from John in this episode was saying that she makes him feel like Mario when he gets his mushroom. So just think of that comparison. Then Ray J had Trap kiss Desi. Desi seemed to like the soft kissing. So did he. He said it felt like home. But then Ray J didn't like it and made Mike Gill kiss Desi. So that's who Ray J put together, was Mike Gill and Desi, even though Desi seemed to be more into Trap than Mike Gill. Now, Mike Gill was a gentleman after the kiss, putting his jacket around Desi. So it does seem that Mike Gill, I'm going to have such a hard time saying his name. I might just start calling him Mike Hill, because that's what it sounded like he said. Mike Gill put his jacket around Desi. He seems really into Desi, but I don't think Desi's into him. Desi was giving Trap the eyes after their kiss. Trap is now with Athena, so Ray J put the two porn stars together. Surprise, surprise. I mean, maybe that will be well suited for them. I guess we'll find out. Brian and Nisa were put together first. Ray J made Brian read a Bible verse first before kissing Nisa. I want to like Brian and Nisa. I think they make for a pretty couple together. But then later, when Nisa had her chance to kiss someone, she chose Thanos. This came after Thanos and Kiara were Ray J's first kiss. Kiara, the super picky one, who shouldn't be because she's not good looking, was talking about how she needs someone at least 6'2". That's her limit. It has to be 6'2". And then here's Thanos, who's only 6 foot. And then after their kiss, she seems into Thanos, but I feel like it was desperation because Ray J picked these two to kiss each other last. And then Thanos isn't into her. So I do like her pickiness coming back to bite her in the ass. But then, like I said, Nisa chose to kiss Thanos, but then when Kiara chose, she took Thanos back. When Athena got her choice, she chose to go back to Trap. So, yeah, those are our couples, I believe. It is our first couples anyway. It is Sheila and John, the Don, if we're going to call him that all season. I don't know. Chloe and Camo, Trap and Athena, Mike Gill and Desi, Brian and Nisa, Thanos and Kiara. And I mean, I had a fun time watching the episode. We'll see how it goes overall. I do think the comparisons to Love Island are a lot. Like, I would not be surprised if the show, if it gets popular, if it doesn't get sued, because the girls even have their own glam room, just like on Love Island. They really want it to be, I would say, the Black Love Island. But like I said, even though most of the men are black, well, all the men are black. It's just that one or two of them are mixed with something. But half of the women are something else. We got our white girl, we got our Persian. Telling, by the way, they cast some of this shit sometimes. We end the episode with Trap talking about how some of the guys were talking about how they like their girls a little dumb, but Sheila seems to know her worth. And then he said this in front of Athena. Sheila didn't like that this was said in front of Athena. I don't know if that's supposed to create tension between Sheila and Athena. I feel like it just pissed Sheila off, because why is Trap being so dumb as to say that in front of his girl? The irony that he said that some of the guys like their girls dumb when he does something dumb like this to end the episode. So yeah, most of this episode was like introductions. We don't have the drama yet. I'm hoping the drama doesn't get like the baddies shows because that's not for me. This is my first foray into Zeus Network. I see baddies always the clips on Twitter. If I wanted to watch fights, I would watch the UFC. So if this is going to devolve into physical fights, I probably won't make it through the season. I could take like one, maybe two physical fights in a reality show season, but beyond that, it's a bit much. So I hope it doesn't devolve into physical fights too much. I know by one of the previews it's going to, but yeah. As for the couples, I don't know if I really feel any of these couples yet. So if they're trying to be Love Island and actually give us couples we like season 4, 5, 6, then they I don't know if they're doing a great job of that. If they're just trying to give us a cast that's going to be messy like Love Island season 7, then we do have that potential for that.